Here on the beautiful beach of the Mediterranean, we are at Tel Dor. If you've noticed, Tel is an often used name in the places we go at. Tel basically means a hilltop, and is basically and usually associated with biblical places and strongholds of those times. So let's get into this video, but first let's run the intro. Tel Dor is an amazing place on a hilltop overlooking the Mediterranean Sea, right on the shoreline 30 kilometers south of Haifa. Dor was mentioned in the book of Joshua as a city that the Israelites were not able to conquer. It was also mentioned in the book of Judges and in the book of Kings. It was mentioned that there King David was finally able to conquer it from the Philistines. Later on, Solomon would turn this into one of his port cities. Later on, it also mentioned that the Syrians also turned it into their port city, and it was connected to Tyre or Lebanon in our days. Now, I went through all that just to have some background on this place, but this place is more associated with something completely different, and it's associated with the culture of the Phoenicians. They were fascinating people that settled mainly on the coastal places along this region. So to start off, this was a Phoenician city. This was a very booming city of its time, prosperous and even cosmopolitan in comparison to what else was around in the world in this region. So the Phoenicians, as we know, were pagans that believed in their statues and so on and so forth. But at the time of Solomon, it seems to be there be archaeological proof here that the Jews and the Phoenicians lived together in peace. It seems like they were better at getting along than we are today. You can see here, cut right out of the bedrock, two small little shipyards at a slant where they would build their ships, and they would be able to just launch them right straight into the sea when they were ready. They made a beautiful little representation of a ship like that would have been back in those days, that they would have probably built right here in these little slips. Up here on the hilltop, you can see where the city part of this fortified city was, right above where the two temples were. You can see where some of the remains that they're starting to dig out now, right here on top of the sea. What you can see in the distance is the town of Nachsholim. Walking around here, you walk on these cliffs, on these little paths that's cut out on these cliffs right on the sea. It's really a beautiful thing to see and to walk through here. But as you're walking through, the stones here are razor sharp, and inside and some of the rock formations that are here, some of them natural, some of them man-made. You can see where there's walls and 90-degree angles. You can definitely tell that's man-made, but some of these caves that the erosion from the water and the waves have made over thousands of years is really beautiful. It's made really deep pools in here, and sometimes people jump off of them straight into the water. You can also see the shelf of the bedrock that goes out before it drops off into the sea. It's just right under the sea level. Now, a few meters from this site is the Mizgaga Museum. Mizgaga in Hebrew means glass factory. Some of the most amazing glass art and glass pieces from that time came, and on the entire world, came from right here. They used to make their glass right here on the shores of this Mediterranean. Now, we know they did not invent glass, but they definitely were some of the best in the world at making it. Even today, 3,000 years later, we do not know how they made some of the things they have made. Think about it. How would you build an oven on the beach using sand and rocks to make a furnace that would hold 1,200 degrees Celsius at a constant temperature for a long period of time? Another interesting thing is right here was found the most ancient mosaic that was found in the land of Israel, dating back to the 2nd century BC. And look at what a beautiful mosaic it is with all the details. You can see the face and the fruits and everything else. It just really pops with beautiful colors. Some of the small stones that were in the mosaic were tested and were found to have come from Italy. So that tells us that the artists that made these mosaics most likely came from Italy. Another interesting part of Tel Dor's history comes from the Hellenistic period. It seems to have also been a stronghold for the Hashmonean kingdom. During their rule here in the 4th century, they built this fortified city. At its time, this fortress had a nickname of hard to be taken. Right here on the beach, you can see 2 temples that were built side by side. But during the Byzantine era, Tel Dor declined. However, a church was found here during the Byzantine era with an exciting discovery. This column was found in a central part of the church. On it, right above this carved out hole, is an ancient Greek inscription saying, "Here lies a stone from the holy Golgotha." So apparently someone took a piece of the holy Golgotha where Jesus was crucified. Archaeologists somehow come up with the conclusion that most likely it was a piece of the rock that came in contact with Jesus, or maybe even a drop of blood of his blood fell on it. So they took a small piece of Golgotha and mounted it here on the column under the inscription. Here is that marble column we was talking about. You barely see it. Here is the engraving, and right here would have been where the stone of Golgotha was. Look at that. I'll tell you something special about Israel. All these amazing artifacts, thousands of years old, they display them usually in a way where sometimes you can even touch them, not like in most museums around the world. This is really something special. Just imagine if they got it right and it really was a piece of Golgotha right in here in the middle of their church. Beautiful feeling marble as well. This museum really is, it's even the building is such a special building. So beautiful. I mean, it's just a different type of architecture. And right now they let me in the back room, the back office here, where they have a lot of these artifacts that they have recently found, and they're still being put together. This is really something special here. I'll show you guys this stuff. Being an active port for over 2,000 years, it is no surprise to anyone out here in the seabed out here, under the water, there was found many relics, including ancient 3,000-year-old boat anchors. This northern coastal site still attracts tourists and archaeologists till today. This place is still packed with many insights to the sea people of the Holy Land back in those days. I hope you found this video enjoyable and informative. Join us on thegoldenreport.com and be a part of our outreach in our boat-based ministries. God bless, and until next week, bye-bye.